Chiefs Kingdom. Stop scrolling right now. Arrowhead just erupted with breaking news, and one single number is already on the table. 14. Sports Illustrated just dropped their official Super Bowl contender list, and despite a completely healthy Patrick Mahomes heading into training camp on July 24th, Kansas City was left completely out. Insiders warned us that national analysts were losing faith after last season, and here is your first payoff. Analyst Connor Orr claims the secondary losses of Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie are simply too massive to overcome. If you bleed red and gold and believe Mahomes will make every single critic swallow their words, smash like and subscribe right now. We start with the disrespect that has Arrowhead shaking. Stay locked, there is a double cliffhanger at the end. Whispers turned into footsteps, and national headlines just turned into an absolute insult to the kingdom. Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated officially released his list of 14 NFL teams with a real shot at winning the next Super Bowl. And somehow, Kansas City was left on the outside looking in. Think about that for a second. Nearly half the entire league made the cut, but the team led by Patrick Mahomes was completely ignored. Orr admitted Mahomes could easily throw for huge numbers and push the Chiefs to 11 or 12 wins. But he insists the roster holes are just too deep. He pointed directly to the departure of star cornerbacks Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie. Combined with an offensive line that remains virtually unchanged from last year's struggles, the analysis claims that relying on 6th overall draft pick Mansour Delane to single-handedly replace 2 elite starting cornerbacks is a recipe for disaster. On top of that, national media members are calling the offensive weapons around Mahomes underwhelming, noting Xavier Worthy's slow development, Rashee Rice's uncertain availability, and Travis Kelce's aging timeline. Is it fair criticism or absolute disrespect? Drop your thoughts below. But here is the rumor coming out of camp circles. According to insiders, Mahomes has already saved that article to his personal phone as motivation for Week 1. The front office believes signing Kenneth Walker III gives this offense the exact explosive running game it lacked, meaning defenses will no longer be able to drop 8 defenders into coverage. Every analyst setting up camp in Missouri seems to forget that counting out Andy Reid in July has historically been a ticket to looking foolish by January. When you look at how this schedule is structured, those 12 projected wins would easily secure another division title. Yet national outlets treat it like a major decline. They talk about the offensive line as if it failed completely, ignoring the reality that protection metrics improved dramatically down the stretch. Furthermore, the narrative surrounding the pass catchers conveniently forgets how Spagnuolo's defenses always keep games close enough for Mahomes to execute late-game magic. The media wants a fresh storyline, a new AFC king, and they are willing to overlook 2-time MVP brilliance just to generate extra clicks before preseason games even kick off. But inside the facility, players are using this exact list to fuel every single workout session. What makes this disrespect even crazier is how analysts are completely downplaying the tactical adjustments Andy Reid makes every single summer. Reid has spent his entire coaching career taking rosters with clear question marks and orchestrating schemes that mask every single weakness. When analysts say the wide receiver room is lacking star power, they completely ignore how Kansas City's offense operates on timing, spacing, and pre-snap motion rather than individual isolation routes. Xavier Worthy was drafted specifically to stretch defenses vertically, and with an extra year in the system, his route tree has expanded significantly during off-season workouts. Furthermore, adding Kenneth Walker III to the backfield gives Kansas City a legitimate home run threat on 1st and 2nd down, forcing opposing coordinators to keep safety help inside the box. If you think the national media is making a fatal mistake by doubting Andy Reid and number 15, hit that like button right now and show the league how loud Arrowhead can get. But as wild as this national disrespect is, the battle taking place inside Kansas City's defensive secondary is about to force a massive roster shakeup before the preseason even begins. Scouts called it calculated violence, and the front office loved the price tag when they brought him in. The question was never if he had the talent, but when he would get his real shot. The name Jaden Hicks, and the defensive backfield competition just got upside down as rookies and veterans report to camp. Hicks was selected 133rd overall in the 28-24 NFL Draft and spent his first 2 seasons waiting patiently behind established veterans, playing a limited rotational role while learning Steve Spagnuolo's complex system. But as the Chiefs close in on their 2026 training camp, the door to a starting safety job has opened wide. Free agent addition Alohi Gilman is locked in at the top of the depth chart, but the spot alongside him is a wide-open battleground. Shamari Connor and Chris Roland Wallace were expected to take most of the snaps, but Hicks finished last season playing 43% of the defensive snaps, racking up 42 tackles, 4 passes defensed, half a sack, and 3 career interceptions. That production proved he can execute in critical moments. Coach Spagnuolo thrives on developing mid-round defensive backs into dominant starters, and Hicks has the physical tools to become the next success story in Kansas City. At almost 24 years old, this summer represents his ultimate make-or-break moment. What makes this battle so fascinating is how Spagnuolo plans to utilize multi-safety packages to combat heavy passing offenses. Hicks brings a unique combination of closing speed and physical tackling at the line of scrimmage, making him an ideal hybrid option against tight ends. During OTA drills, coaching assistants noted how quickly Hicks was making pre-snap adjustments, showing a level of playbook mastery that simply wasn't there during his rookie campaign. The defensive staff knows that losing veteran leadership in the secondary requires someone new to step up and vocalize coverage calls. While Gilman will handle primary communication, having a secondary communicator like Hicks lining up in the box gives Kansas City incredible pre-snap flexibility. If he earns this job, it completely changes how opposing offensive coordinators have to prepare for blitz schemes, as Hicks has shown a rare knack for timing edge rushes without giving away the disguise. The development trajectory of late-round safeties in Missouri is legendary, and insiders report that Hicks has spent the entire spring studying tape with veteran leaders to refine his footwork. In Spagnuolo's defensive philosophy, safeties aren't just pass defenders. They are the primary enforcers against outside zone runs. Hicks has shown a ferocious willingness to come downhill and blow up screen passes before they can develop. When you look at the physical metrics, his length and range give him a massive advantage when matched up against oversized slot targets. Having a young defensive back step up into a full-time starting role saves salary cap room and injects raw athletic energy into a unit that needs fresh playmaker energy. Do you believe Jaden Hicks has earned the right to start in Week 1? Tell me in the comments. If he locks down this starting role, it gives Spagnuolo the exact size and range needed to disguise coverages against elite AFC quarterbacks. But while Hicks is making a massive charge up the depth chart, another offseason addition is suddenly finding himself on the verge of being cut before he ever plays a regular season snap. A move 3 months in the making just hit a massive roadblock. Sources say the secondary depth chart was rewritten last week, and the identity everyone is asking about. Kader Kohou and the coaching staff is already facing a brutal decision. Kansas City signed the former Miami Dolphins slot cornerback earlier this summer to fix their nickel defense, but off-season moves have put his roster spot in extreme jeopardy. Kohou is returning from a partially torn ACL that forced him to miss the entire 2025 season, and while he has been medically cleared, historical data shows players rarely regain their elite explosive speed in their first year back. Meanwhile, the front office drafted rookie Jaden Kennedy, who is on a cheap 4-year contract and offers immediate value on special teams, an area where Kohou has virtually zero experience. Combine that with the presence of Christian Roland Wallace, Kevin Knowles, and Shamari Connor, and it becomes mathematically impossible for Spagnuolo to carry 4 nickel cornerbacks on the final 53-man roster. Rumor has it, per team insiders, that if Kennedy shines during the early days of training camp, the front office will look to cut Kohou outright or stash him on the 17-man practice squad. The financial implications of this decision are also playing a huge role behind closed doors. By moving on from a short-term veteran contract, the Chiefs could immediately free up valuable cap space to address depth needs along the defensive line or save flexibility for mid-season trades. Special teams coordinator Dave Toub holds significant weight in these roster battles, and his demand for cornerbacks who can tackle on kickoff coverage puts Kohou at a distinct disadvantage compared to younger, hungry rookies. Kennedy has already impressed coaches with his willingness to throw his body around on coverage units, making him a dual-threat contributor on game days. Kohou's technical skills in slot coverage are undisputed when fully healthy, but in Spagnuolo's defense, availability and multi-phase versatility carry far more weight than past reputation. The clock is ticking rapidly for the veteran corner to prove his knee is at 100% effectiveness before padded practices begin. What makes this roster dilemma even more intense is how strict Kansas City's roster construction has become under current salary cap constraints. Carrying a defensive back who only plays a single position is a luxury the front office simply cannot afford when key positions need backup depth. If Kohou struggles with lateral quickness in early 11-on-11 drills, offensive receivers will exploit those leverage gaps immediately during camp. Insiders emphasize that Dave Toub's special teams unit commands up to 6 roster spots specifically for coverage specialists, and Kohou's lack of career snaps on punt return coverage leaves him on an island. If Kennedy proves he can hold his own in slot coverage while excelling on kickoff units, the front office will have zero hesitation in releasing Kohou before final roster cutdown day. Kansas City simply cannot afford to waste a roster spot on a veteran who cannot contribute on special teams during a bounce-back year. Do you think the Chiefs should cut Kohou now to save roster space for another position? Leave your take in the comments below and hit subscribe to make sure you never miss a breaking update from Arrowhead. 3 headlines, 1 clear picture, National experts are writing off the Kansas City Chiefs, but the internal battles inside training camp are forging a far more dangerous team than the media realizes. The national disrespect surrounding Patrick Mahomes is nothing new, but leaving an 11-win caliber team off a 14-team contender list is pure fuel for a franchise that thrives on proving doubters wrong. Meanwhile, Steve Spagnuolo is reshuffling his secondary with hungry young talent like Jaden Hicks earning starting reps and rookie Jaden Kennedy pushing overpaid veterans off the roster. The depth chart is being trimmed to perfection, and this defense is shaping up to be faster, leaner, and far more aggressive than last year. The Chargers and Raiders think the AFC West is wide open, but they are forgetting one fundamental truth. As long as Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are breathing, the division title runs straight through Missouri. The math is simple. The chip on their shoulder is massive, and the rest of the league is walking directly into a trap. Here is what I need from Chiefs Kingdom right now. 1. Smash that like button if you know national analysts are out of their minds for leaving Mahomes off the contender list. 2. Comment "In Mahomes we trust" down below to let every rival fan know who still runs this league. 3. Hit subscribe immediately because every new subscriber makes Chargers and Raiders fans nervous about what is coming this season. But keep your eyes open because the edge of the cliff is right here. First, whispers out of St. Joseph suggest a major veteran wide receiver is currently unsatisfied with his contract structure and could stage a holdout before rookies' fully padded practices begin. And second, the Los Angeles Chargers just cleared cap space to make an aggressive trade offer for a star defensive back that Kansas City was quietly targeting. Which domino falls first in the AFC West? That bombshell drops in the next video. Stay locked. Chiefs Kingdom, the storm is here.